All right. Okay. It's 7 o'clock, and it's time for our second AMA. Hoping everyone can hear me. We had a little bit of sound difficulties early on, but of course we're learning and we're growing, and we have to go through some of these lessons to get to a well polished production house, which we'll get to one day, but not quite yet. Okay, so we are delighted to have our second guest as part of a very long roadmap of very exciting artists. But Mariah is, she joins us as our guest artist tonight to talk about her career and her experiences, get some opinion, or what she thinks about art in general or NFTs, and get to know her a little bit better. Now, the way it's going to work is basically we want everyone to jot down their questions on the general chat, and then we'll open it up to the forum at the end of the session, and we'll answer all the questions if we can, and we'll get through it. But at this time, I would like to say, Mariah, hi, are you there?
Hi, I am. Thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah, and sorry, this is my first Discord voice meeting, so I hope you can all hear me.
We can hear you loud and clear. The quality is perfect on my side.
Thank you. It sounds good.
One can only assume that everyone else has as crystal clear as I do. But Mariah, thank you so much for taking this evening, spending it with us and the community. I understand also you're not feeling 100% tip-top shape. So we won't have a long session. We can keep it focused, but I really appreciate you taking time out this evening. And
thank you so much, Phil. Yeah, I've caught the dreaded virus that's going around at the moment. So yeah, definitely appreciate the shorter time span.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So let's not deliberate about it. So guys, get your questions ready. You can jot them down on the general chat, and then we can open it up. I know that Vincent is very eager to ask a number of questions now. So we kicked off this week with a bit of a spotlight on your career. Obviously, it's only a snapshot, right? I really would like you to tell us a little bit more about yourself. You've got a very interesting PhD. Nothing related, right? And I think that's kind of funny because I think most of us end up in different, arenas that what we thought we were going to start off with. So tell us a little bit about your background, and what motivates you.
Thank you, Phil. Well, my motivation in general for creating art, is that what you mean?
Sorry. Sorry. Yeah. Just a little bit about yourself, your background, and then, let's bring it into context.
Yeah, exactly. Well, hello, everyone. Oh, that's a bit noisy. My name is Mariah, and I am currently residing in Denmark and a small island that's called Ærø in the south of the country. I've lived here for the last 6 years. We abandoned Copenhagen after many years there to just get some peace and quiet and some nature. And I think that the nature part is actually hooking into what you were just mentioning shortly before, Phil, that I have a very untraditional background. I did a PhD in tropical botany before actually sort of making full circle back to doing art as I did as I was young as well.
Yeah.
So.
And what did you want to? I mean, let's take a step back when you were younger and aspiring. And I mean, a PhD is no joke, right? So you invested a lot of your personal capacity into getting a PhD. What made you want to get into that?
Well, that's part of a long story, actually. To sort of backtrack, I think I was actually born an artist, and I've always been drawing and photographing and writing when I was young. But then, all kinds of family trouble. My parents got divorced. I got into a big fight with my dad, and then I was so unlucky as to have a sexual assault when I was just in my teens as well. So that sort of really jumbled me up, and I detached from everything that had to do with art and heart, and just went with my mind, and that led me to biology and botany. Yeah. So not exactly a success story, but then I think in a way still I've always said that I never regretted going that route, because I learned so much, and I was able to travel and to meet people in very high levels of science, which sort of has made me later on not afraid to go into new areas, which I think also has enabled me to go into this whole NFT world more easily.
Yeah, and I think let's take that bridge. And obviously, I'm deeply sorry to hear of some of the experiences, and I would never want to ever comment or be in the
no
position
worries.
to make an opinion of that. But it does highlight a massive challenge that the world still faces, right? And this is why we run a segment on gender discrepancy. And I come from largely a female-dominated environment myself, and it's unreasonable that we're sitting in a world today and we're still facing these issues.
Yeah, exactly.
And I want to get your opinion. Like, I mean, obviously from a science background or from a science industry, I'm sure that you were also surrounded by a male-dominated environment. Now you're in a very new industry, NFTs, NFT art, and the definition of that is going to be broad, wonderful, and off a very wide spectrum. What do you feel some of the challenges are for a female in the NFT art space?
Well, I've only really started to scratch the surface of that, since I only really started diving into it in December. But already I can see that there's definitely a large discrepancy between men and women involved in the NFT space. But that said, I think I've also already discovered a huge, very active female community who is really positive and uplifting each other and doing whatever they can to sort of get our side of the art world and out there.
Yeah. 100% right. And I'm hoping, obviously, that that's the same aspiration that we have for SpaceSeven, is to be a place where we can encourage such open, fair, and balanced dialogue, and equal promotion and equal support and everything that goes into it. And I think also that, for me, is the very definition of where the internet is headed, where we will be able to decentralize, the central control of minorities. And I think that's a very exciting opportunity for NFTs in particular. But NFT art is also, I suppose, a wonderful arena to express that creativity and express that voice that for probably so long has been oppressed or pushed to the sideline. Not to be too political, and I would try to avoid being too political on this AMA. But do you think that from an NFT art or from a conceptual point of view, do you think that there's a lot of demand right now for that type of subject matter to be tackled on head on?
You mean sort of with gender discrepancy?
Well, yeah, a particular voice of looking after or promoting a minority support.
I think it definitely helps to have a focus on it. Because there clearly is this discrepancy, and because we are still so few females, for instance, in or female-oriented artists. So I think, yeah, definitely, just keep an eye on it from the get-go. That will definitely help.
Yeah, and I mean we're in our basic embryonic stages ourselves, so we're definitely it's a very competitive landscape, not only for an artist but also for a marketplace, right? So we're carving out, what we're trying to do is we're trying to carve out a platform for the niches, for the the opportunities that sit within that smaller arena or the smaller remit. We're very excited that you have decided to get close to SpaceSeven, and I know that it's kind of catapulted for you, like you said, December, because you won an award. I would like you to tell us more about the award. What was what was that all about, and who introduced you to that to get you to this point? And December, that's last month. So you've been catapulted into this industry, and I'm sure it's like everyone who joins crypto or blockchain or NFT sits there with wide eyes going, wow, this is incredible. It's sometimes overwhelming. And there's many different support mechanisms, but like, what's it been like for you? It's just and this is always like the rise or the meteoric overnight success. It isn't the case. You've put a lot of work into that, into your career. It just seems to have taken
just to sort of start with your question, yes, I really got catapulted into the NFT space, and the reason was that I won an award through British Journal of Photography, which was they did sort of a project called Edition 365, which was for people to have an artwork created during the first lockdown worldwide. And then they set up a large exhibition with these pieces virtually through an online gallery called New Art City. And what we didn't know initially was that actually the artworks in the exhibition was going to be sold as NFTs. And I remember when I got that email, I was like, what is this?
What is an NFT?
Yeah, exactly. I might have like heard about it or just come across it, but I didn't exactly know what it meant. So I really had to do my research quickly and just sort of figure out what does that mean, and did I want my artwork to be there? But I've been really happy about it. I mean, the artwork is still sitting there on OpenSea through as part of the Edition 365, and I know that British Journal of Photography is going to relaunch it again soon. So I'm very excited to see what's going to happen. But for me, that this journey into the NFT world was it was like tickling an old fancy in a way. You could say that it really got my geeky side out. But also I really loved falling into the Twitterverse because I mean, like everybody else, but also like I think most visual artists, I've been living my life mainly on Instagram for the last many years. And that's just sort of become more and more hollow, and with so many restrictions, and often your art can't really be showcased, and you never really had that conversation. And what I discovered, and I can see what many people discover when they come to Twitter, is that you actually have that community, and you can talk to other artists, and people are really friendly and helpful, and it's just so it's full of hope, everything there, in contrast to Web 2 apparently.
Well, I think 100% right. It's hopeful. It's also I think at the end of the day, we will check ourselves in terms of governance. Now, the whole argument against, right-click, JPEG, save, right? The counter argument I always use for that is, if we were intrinsically bad as a species, the music industry would be dead, right? So do you remember the times of LimeWire and all of these, these Pirate Bay websites where you could download videos and you could download songs for free? Right? Now, if we were intrinsically bad, we would have killed both of those industries by not paying a cent.
True.
So I think the same type of altruism and, honesty will prevail, and people will want to support a medium that they love. And that, at the end of the day, will be the fact that people will go, well, I see not only aesthetic value, also collective potential value, but I do want to support the artists, and I think that's going to be an important part of community.
I definitely hope so. I mean, that is one of the things that when you're sort of learning the space, that's one of the things that I was definitely worried about. But I'm coming around to seeing that what you've just said is, I think it's going to be true.
Yeah, I really hope so. Or what's the point, right? But I think Twitter is an interesting one. Obviously, it moves incredibly quickly. The algorithms are not necessarily designed to favor organic reach anymore. Jack Dorsey's strategy around Bitcoin and token transactions is going to be an interesting one. He's obviously the first kind of mainstream Web 2 adopting it. Facebook and the likes be very speculative, be cautioned around that, because I read an article this afternoon that they are now going to provide a place for you to create NFTs and sell them.
Yeah, I saw that as well.
Yeah. And now, what's your feeling on Facebook?
Facebook in general.
Well, not to obviously like slate Facebook in terms of being a privacy nightmare. But what do you think? Do you think Facebook is still a platform that can revive itself and a potential, hosting avenue for artists?
I think it's going to be an uphill battle for sure.
Yeah.
Because I mean, as an artist, as just not like a personal page on Facebook, but like an artist page or a company page, it has stopped functioning a long time ago. So I think in order for that part to work on Facebook, it's no, I can't really see it.
Yeah, big question mark around there. But the question is then, what are the alternatives? That's the unfortunate nature of the guerrilla space, right? So the guerrilla is the gorilla in the room. So you've got your Googles and you've got your Facebooks, and they kind of still dominate the web. And the question is, if Web3 takes over, which is the decentralization of that control, what are these two companies going to do? Their whole business model changes, or it has to change.
I think so.
But nonetheless, very interesting time to be alive, and very interesting to be in the space that we are at. So let's go back to your artwork. Let's also talk about SpaceSeven and how that kind of resonates with what you're trying to achieve. What really stood out for SpaceSeven, I mean, you read it. You first came across us in a Danish newspaper. What were some of the signals that you were most attracted to?
Well, I have to admit that it was, of course, the focus on the more sustainable side of it, because I mean, as a biologist, it's hard not to value sustainability whenever it's possible. Yeah. And I mean, we've all read and heard that blockchains are not exactly environmentally friendly. Yeah. So whatever can be a pull in the right direction, I think is really valuable.
Yeah, 100% agree. It is a massive concern, and it's a very strong appeal, I mean, for myself also, to be part of such a positive cause. I think it just kind of resonates with the overall, obviously Concordium strategy and ethos, but it really will be felt strongly on the SpaceSeven front because of what we do. We're also the first example of the Concordium network, so there's going to be a lot of attention and focus on us. And what was your experience? What do you like the whole minting onboarding? Did you find it easy, or we obviously welcome feedback and direction and all that sort of thing, but what was your initial?
Yeah, no, I actually thought it was very straightforward. I think I didn't feel like it was super nerdy or anything. It was more point and click, really.
Yeah. It is, right. And we're going to be updating that also. And I'm also pleased to say that you're going to be part of the Concordium Universe, right?
I will have to look into that. As I said, I'm still so new in all this. So if you can give me a good reason that I should be part of that in other ways, then let me know.
It was the volume play where we're going to do the specific white label solution for the Concordium airdrops.
Oh yeah, sure. Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're in that, right?
Yeah, I'm in that. Yeah, thank you. I just misheard you.
I was are you not going to be in that now?
Oh, no. Yeah, no. I'm definitely going to be in that. Yeah, so just got your email this afternoon as well. So it'll be interesting.
We're in obviously the design development stages. We're going to start populating it. It's for us a very interesting angle because obviously it opens up an enormous potential of buyers that are going to come into the market. There's nowhere really else to spend CCD other than SpaceSeven. So it's that opportunity, but also it brings into bear or light rather NFT pricing, which it's been a little bit of an educational requirement or need on our side because the NFT movement is really hyped up and the people are making a lot of money on it, and everyone's going, well, if this guy's making money, I should be able to make money, right? And it's a big question mark because you still have to build a reputation and brand, and you've done this very successfully. So you've won awards, you've kept true to your craft, and you are transitioning into a new medium. It's the same, but it's a new medium, and your pricing strategy reflects that. So what have you felt like, just in terms of your sales volumes? Not obviously on SpaceSeven because you haven't listed for sale yet, but what are you seeing on other marketplaces in terms of your sales volume?
Do you mean compared to what I have sold?
Yes. Like, do
Yeah.
you see that there's a healthy demand on other marketplaces?
Well, the thing is, I haven't really minted on other marketplaces yet because, as I said, I'm still so new to this whole thing. So I have this piece on OpenSea through British Journal of Photography, and then I have an invitation to this photography-based platform called Foundation, where I'm going to mint something very soon, probably before the end of the month. So I don't really have any actual things I can measure as to the sales that might be, but I'm quite confident really because I have sold quite well in the sort of the normal world, or the off-chain world, and I have quite a good traction on what I put out on Twitter. So I think I'm confident.
Good. So and I'm very excited that you're going to be close to us, and we're going to watch. Obviously, I mean, your career, your NFT career is just taking off, and we would very likely have you on a regular session with us, and keeping a very close eye on your NFT career as that explodes and blossoms. And the one interesting challenge that we're all going to face is, the collectors need to come into the arena as well. And the onboarding of the collectors is also, we have to go through the educational process, right? So how do we talk about fiat versus, and fiat is, chrono or euros or dollars, to what a token is, and what the value of a CCD token is, or, when we eventually launch our space token, which is in a few weeks time. It's the whole educational process that is required for collectors. So I imagine you're pretty close to your collector base. Are people in that community talking about NFTs or aware of what's going on?
I think, they are aware, but most of my collector base have been here in Denmark, and it's still very slow. I think it's going to be a little bit of a struggle, and I think I'm probably going to focus more on recruiting new collectors from the broader world. Before putting a lot of effort into the Danish collectors.
Very, very true. So we're going to be having we're going to be doing a number of events in the physical, physical tradition or sense. We've also invited you to one of the events that we're going to be, and it's not public yet, so I can't talk about brand names there, but it's going to be held in Denmark. And I do think there's going to be a great opportunity at these type of exhibitions, the physical, traditional exhibition, where we showcase, the digital counterparts with small, type of educational pieces or whatever to talk about it. Because for me, I think also the opportunity that exists in the traditional exhibition / museum world is going to be very exciting when you start incorporating technology. And I think that's also the great opportunity for us to collectively talk to collectors, educate, and express where we feel the future potential is. I don't think it's going to be also one or the other. What's your opinion on that? And when I mean one or the other, I don't think it's going to be NFTs are going to completely digital, counterparts, not going to completely kill. It's not like the radio killed the the television killed the radio star, right? It's not. I'm obviously showing my age there, but it's not going to be that case. What do you think is going to be a perfect symmetry or symbiotic? Go back to
well, I hope that it's going to be symbiotic. I mean, it's probably a little bit like people would have said that the LP would go extinct, and obviously it didn't. And I think also, I mean, at least for me personally, I really love seeing my works in print, also because then I get to choose the paper and the framing. It's sort of, it gets to be a different kind of work altogether. But also, I think that the digital image or the NFTs, they are something entirely different, especially when you start to think maybe moving elements or something into that. So yeah, I think they're going to coexist. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, for me also the opportunity to display this in a digital frame, right? I think it's very exciting. And I mean, imagine being able to showcase digital artwork that moves, that is interactive, and that completely changes the mood and tonality of your room. I think that's very cool stuff. There's some artists that I'm following on Instagram. Some of their work is just like, it's mind blowing. That's obviously it's rendered and it's there's a lot of computation behind it. And I just think, how cool would it be to have this, an entire screen or an entire wall, 4x4 wall dedicated to this artwork that changes and morphs and all that sort of thing, and maybe even reflects my mood, which maybe isn't always a good idea, but I think there's going to be a very cool opportunity for us to be able to display digital in a weird and wonderful way that we probably haven't considered yet. And I think
absolutely.
It's going to affect design. It's going to affect architecture, which is also a very interesting arena right now. Architecture, fashion. Are you keeping an eye on what NFT fashion and NFT architecture is up to?
Well, still, it's so new to me, but I am following at least a couple of architects. Fashion, I haven't really got that much into, but I'll definitely keep a lookout.
Very exciting. Very exciting. Obviously, it all will end up in the metaverse, and that's kind of like the narrative is where the web is headed. Now, imagine having a gallery, a digital gallery, exhibited in, say, Decentraland or Sandbox, as an example, and they are doing these things. I know personally, I've had a few meetings and discussions with the Sandbox guys, and they're actually going to be launching a museum, and they'll be looking for partners like SpaceSeven to basically plug in and manage that component for them.
Wow, and that sounds interesting.
It's cool, right? So, like, imagine you're in this virtual world, you moving around, and you're greeted with the aesthetics of art, obviously within your environment. I think there's a great opportunity there. But I always kind of say on every discussion I have, always kind of say, like, find the balance, strike the balance between how you live your life in the physical world and in the virtual world. So
absolutely,
keeping that in mind, obviously we are running on time. Maria, what else? I mean, tell us, is there anything else that you would like to, everyone is new in the space, right? And you're learning as you go along. I think we all are. It's brand new, just in terms of industry maturity as well. What kind of key lessons have you got or managed to achieve? I know it's been such a short period of time, but there's obviously going to be people that are following you and saying, you've done something right. What are some of those key lessons that you would like to distill?
Oh, that's that's still so up in the air for me. But I think that one of the key lessons, at least for anyone new to the space like me, is just that the best thing you can do initially is just to network the hell out of it. I mean, that goes for anything really, but in the Twitter space, at least, that's so important.
Follow back Thursdays.
Yeah, well, not necessarily follow just blindly, but I mean, have a look around and discover like your tribe, the people who interest you, and the people who share your values, and you can have conversations with, and then join the Twitter spaces. I mean, for me, that was very new as well to go and hear other people talk about their work and present yourself and your own work, and slowly. I mean, just for me, I think in the month I've been here, I've gained about 600 new followers, something like that. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So it's the best way to learn also. I mean, so many people sharing valuable knowledge.
But it can be overwhelming, right? Like, you open up your Twitter feed and it's just like, boom, you get hit. So how are you differentiating between the FUD, the rubbish, and the authentic projects?
I don't know. I think because I'm really only focused on photography, or at least mainly on photography, I don't get that much rubbish. I don't get people selling weird things that I'm not interested in. I mean, I just see loads of really beautiful art, and for me, yeah, it's overwhelming sometimes, but it doesn't feel unwelcome.
Yeah. Oh, it's interesting you say that. We get propositions every day from people, DM this, promote it on this, etc. And I suppose it's with every new industry, it does come with a little bit of a spam, if you want to call it that. But it's a beautiful way to look at it, I suppose. So thank you for that. Thank you for the positivity this evening, Maria. Thank you. Much needed.
You're welcome.
And I think there's one question is, where do you get your inspiration from? Not obviously tapping into too much of the emotive background, but you have a very distinct, Pantone color, right? Color scheme. Where do you pull in that type of inspiration, and what really pulls your eye to certain projects?
I think sort of for the expression of my work. Well, I'm obviously, as you said, I'm sort of very emotional in where I draw my inspiration, but also I use clearly a lot of inspiration from the natural world due to my background. And then sort of for visual inspiration, I think I'm very much inspired by lights from like old masters like Hammershøi. But also like the Baroque masters like Caravaggio and Titian, who used the sort of very dramatic lighting. So really just sort of looking at older art, and then sort of trying to take that sensitivity and that trying not to say perfection, because I'm not really a perfectionist, but I mean it's that kind of feel into my work.
Yeah. An old Japanese way of applying perfection it's not the perfection itself, it's the pursuit for perfection.
Yeah, that's very well put, actually.
And I mean, your work is, I'm not saying it's an emotional piece, like, right, but it does evoke emotion, and it is very moving. We've had a couple of people comment on it that it's like it really hits quite deep into someone. And that, for me, right, that is the definition of art.
Thank you. I'm so happy to hear that. But I mean, for me as an artist, that's also probably sort of the epitome of what I would like to do. To actually, move people and evoke feelings from them. I mean, it's not that they have to have the same feeling that I wanted to express, but still just to know that it actually reaches people on the other side of the screen.
That's it, right? That's the purpose of life. If you can have a positive impact, not a negative impact, but a positive impact on someone else's life.
Exactly.
And I think art is a beautiful medium, mechanism, or I'm not going to say tool. It sounds almost vicious, but it's a beautiful way to imprint some sort of something onto someone else. So Carrie, please don't stop. We look forward to many more NFTs being minted and many more physical editions being done. We will watch your career with keen interest, and I think that you are going to be one of our most popular artists, and we will support you. I promise you right now, we will support your career and endeavors, and whatever you need, you've got my contact details 24/7, right? So we're very excited.
Thank you so much, Phil.
It's an absolute pleasure. And thank you so much for taking time out tonight. I'm just going to open up quickly. We haven't had many questions on general chat. Just open up quickly. If anyone's got any questions, drop them in now, or we're going to allow Maria to enjoy her evening in the beautiful countryside. And I will, I think if you are around for that event in March, it would be great, obviously, to meet face to face and put
Absolutely, I'll love that.
Yeah, unfortunately, I have to drag you to Copenhagen, where the event is going to be held. But I haven't
That's
been.
That's completely okay with me.
Good. I haven't been to Copenhagen for a couple of years, and actually half of my family sits there, so it'll be a good thing for me also to revisit some of my roots.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool. So we don't have any more questions, and I know that it's the evening. So Maria, thank you so much, and we look forward to more things to come from you.
Thank you.
And
I look forward to sharing it with you.
perfect. And we'll distribute this recording for people. Obviously, it's across time zones and stuff. So we will distribute this recording to everyone. And are you open, obviously, for people contacting you and like making contact or whatever? Or would you prefer them just coming through our channels? Either or, it's up to you.
Well, no, generally I'm open to people contacting me wherever really I'm at. So here or via Twitter or
Cool.
Yeah, just Instagram, mail, website, whatever. It's my name is always my handle wherever I go, so you can easily find me.
Perfect. And we will send out all of that contact information. So yeah, guys, please follow, support, and yeah, it's like Maria said, it's all about the community and the tribe. I love that, right? The tribe. Seth Godin, I recall him talking about tribes, and that's important. We call them communities now, and we're trying to build a very healthy community based on creativity and like-minded individuals like yourself. So, and then lastly, I want to actually thank you because I had never heard of Agnes Obel before, and that was the music that we were playing before we kicked this off. And if this is something I actually vehemently believe in my personal life, if you can introduce new music to new people, that's the true definition of love.
That sounds fantastic, Phil.
And I love it. I love Agnes. I mean, I was listening to her when you told me, and I'm like, I'm going to go down this rabbit hole with her. And
no, she's always on when I'm editing, actually. So yeah, happy to share that.
I love this kind of music, and I'll share similar types of music with you. I'm all about piano and relaxing in the background whilst you have a glass of red wine. So, thank you, Maria. I appreciate the time you've taken out. And yeah, we'll send out this recording. And thank you guys for listening in, tuning in. And yeah, once again, awesome having you part of us. And
thank you, Phil. And
all the best.
Happy to be here.
Thanks, Maria. Have a good evening.
You too.
Cheers.
Bye.
Cheers. All right, guys, thank you so much. We're going to wrap it up here. Fire off any questions. We've got obviously in the forums. Hit us up on Telegram, hit us up on Discord, or even Twitter. And if you've got any questions or anything else, any ideas, yeah, feel free to shoot them off to us. So thank you very much, guys. Have a good evening, and we will speak to you soon. Auf Wiedersehen.